Hey, good morning, David. How are you today? And how's everybody in the chat?
I'm great. This is it's Pro Bowl Sunday. We have no players playing in it, which is fantastic. Yep.
That's a good
Shout out
thing.
to the
So
It
if they're
really
not
is.
playing, if they're not playing in the Pro Bowl, David, where are these guys playing? For those who are just tuning in, who might not have heard the recent news, where are the 49ers playing?
Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl. The Super
The
Bowl.
ultimate goal.
I
Yep, the
love it.
Super Bowl.
Well, folks, thank you for coming. Let's check this out, and we'll be right back. Yes, folks, that's the upcoming match. There's a game coming. It's the next weekend, and there's a shiny new piece of hardware. They call that the Lombardi at the end, and that's the trophy they hoist at the end. The two teams is the San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs. They will be playing. And if you didn't notice, they have Taylor Swift, but we have Journey. So do not stop believing. Do not stop. So with that, guys, it's Sunday. We don't really have a game today, but we have a game coming. So there's Pro Bowl, flag football, what you want to call it. You guys should drop it in the chat. Who you think's going to win? I don't think it really matters as long as no one gets hurt. I think that's the most important thing. But for everybody, let's start out the show. Let's run through the chat. David, we got Mr. Bebop Jones. Thank you, Bebop. Bebop's great. We got CarCast coming in. We got 49ers Ultimate Report, Mr. John J. Jon. Remember that, friends. Okay, we have, let's go on down. We got Raphael 562 Niners. One of the greatest guys ever. He always comes in every place he goes. He follows us up. Like and subscribe, everyone. Tommy Huxley. Hey, Tommy, I was told this the other day, and I don't know how many people really truly understand it, but Tommy Huxley is known as the camel with two humps. So if you guys see Tommy, don't throw that goat emoji, throw the camel with two humps. But I was just told the other day, David, and this is kind of mind blowing. Sharks don't know camels exist. Do you believe that?
I believe that.
I never really thought of it. I never thought about it.
That's the thing. What do they have to do with the ocean? They don't want to swim across the lake or swim across the Red Sea or the Gulfs or they want nothing to do with that.
My friend told me that the other day, and I just stood there and thought about it for a second, and all I could think of is wow, that's entirely true. Like, why would a shark know about a camel or a camel know about it? But Tommy, folks, is a camel with two humps. So please remember that. All right, folks, we have Steve-O coming through. Steve-O does CMC's mom saying him and couple can't afford a suit. Does that change the outcome of the game? Though I'm sure Jed will flip the bill eventually. I don't get that, but okay. I'm sure there's some hidden meaning there. We got Crazy Juice. Hey, Crazy Juice, thank you for coming. All right, so with that, guys, David, how you feeling this morning? You got a cup of coffee. I hope everybody else in the chat has something warm to drink, something nice to, watch the show with us, enjoy this conversation. We have a rainstorm going on right now in California where we're at. So it's going to be pretty wet, but it doesn't really matter because the game's not here. The game's in Las Vegas, and it's inside a dome. So how you feeling? I think the Niners are traveling over there. I think they've already traveled. I don't think they've really practiced too much as far as like running through it. And this week with I have to apologize for a second, David. I need to mute. I'm gonna pass it to you. You gotta go check the kiddos.
Well, we got the Pro Bowl going on, folks, and I haven't watched a thing of it. I'm just not gonna lie. Shout out to the 9 players that get the Pro Bowl nod. They'll get the Pro Bowl bonus. They'll get all the accolades that go with it for actually making the Pro Bowl, because we are in the Super Bowl, folks. So we helped out 9 players. 49ers helping people. There's nothing wrong with that, right? And then apparently the flag football game is on today. And I'm not going to lie. You know what would be more entertaining? Let's get all the mascots together, split them in half, and have them play a football game. Why not? Some of them are going to have to play both ways, yeah. But, they can rotate. But I honestly think that would be more entertaining than the flag football game. I mean, that's my opinion. Let me know what you think in the chat, folks.
So if they were going to have the mascots play instead, I think that would be kind of entertaining. I really would think. I would think also if they were allowed to, like kind of pick the teams, and it's not necessarily AFC versus NFC. And honestly, David, I don't think anybody really cares if a mascot tears his ACL or ruptures his Achilles or any. I think this game could be for blood. I mean, like we could really have a real football game again. Like they could really be taking heads off, and like there could be tackle. I know they said flag, but this game could get aggressive. They could get competitive. I'd like to see it. I think we need to petition. We need to write it down, but we need to word it in a way where we don't word it that way where the NFL thinks blood and here's violence and too much of that kind of stuff, because then they're going to start thinking, okay, maybe we need to back off from here. But have you ever heard of a mascot biting anybody?
No.
So I don't see the issue. I really don't. No one's eyes are going to get poked out in this. No, I mean, they don't have to wear helmets, but they could tackle. I think tackling would be fine. I really think tackling would be fine.
Well, with those suits they have on and those, the oversized heads they put on, I mean, they don't, honestly, I don't think they need helmets or anything. They're going to be protected. And it's not like they can run full speed in those suits. Let's be honest here, right? But yeah, I would love to see a football game between all the mascots, AFC versus NFC. There we go. That's how we'll split up the teams.
They have the game where the mascots play the little kids. So why can't we make it where the mascots are playing against the mascots? I don't know. I mean, I think, we've seen it kind of in the past with others, but let's make this bigger. Let's put some resources to it. Somebody can start writing some ideas down. I mean, we got some good ideas right now. We'll get a pen and paper and we'll just start. We'll get this to the NFL right away. I think the NFL is all about money, David, and I think we can make some money here for them. But getting back to that Super Bowl, it's what, Super Bowl 58. Niners will be wearing their white uniforms. Chiefs will be donning their red uniforms. Do you know what color red that is for Kansas City? Don't either.
I don't. It has a lot of orange in it, though.
Yeah, it's almost like a fire engine red or something like that. I'm not. If anybody knows the exact color, the hue of that red, that would be great. The Niners, at one time we had like a scarlet red, but this red behind me, I just consider it 49er red. I know there's a term for it too, but
I think we should throw a curve at them and change our uniforms to mostly white, but right where the offensive linemen, do the holding and put their hands, let's put a red stripe. That way, when they're wearing their white gloves, they're not able to cheat. Yeah, I'm sure you heard about
that. So let's talk about this. When we're looking at this game, obviously Patrick Mahomes has been to the Super Bowl more than Brock Purdy has. So we can say maybe a point for Kansas City. We could even possibly say a point for Kansas City for the tight end position, right? How would you feel about their running back position, Pacheco versus CMC? Who do you think has the edge?
I think we do, because CMC is battle tested, proven. He can do many things. He can line up in the slot. He can run the ball. He can pass block. He can even run block for someone else if they're running the ball. And Pacheco, he hasn't been in the league long. He's a good running back. I don't know his pass catching skills. I've never seen him line up out at slot wide receiver or anything like that. So 100% taking CMC here.
Okay, so that's 2 for 1. Let's go wide receivers. The only wide receiver I can really think of on their team, and it's not that I can't think of other names, but the only one that's really become like maybe a household name worldwide that you'd be able to is Rice, right? Mm-hmm. Number 4, I think he is. So we got a couple of wide receivers that people know their name. Maybe people know Debo a little bit better than Ayuk, but you can't forget about Ayuk. And then we have Juwan, and Juwan might be that one that people don't know about or have heard about. But when it comes around third down, so how would you rate the Niners wide receiver? Is it 2 for 2 now, or are you going to give Chiefs a nod on the wide receivers?
Honestly, I can't give the Chiefs the nod at wide receivers. They have Rashid Rice and a guy that lines up off sides. They actually led the league in dropped passes this year. So wide receivers wise, we have the edge.
So we're looking at 2 and 2 right now. We're going to go ahead and move from wide. We went what? Quarterback. We've went wide receiver now. Running back. Do we do tight end?
Man, that's going to be that's a hard one, the tight end, because Kelsey, run blocking wise, isn't as good as Kittle. He's a great pass catcher. Kittle's a really good pass catcher and a really good run blocker. So, and they're both probably, destined for the Hall. Let's be honest here. They've been in the league a while. So it's one of those, it's the best 2 tight ends in the league right here. I mean, who do you pick, right?
So I would have to say just right now, Kittle is more valuable to the Niners blocking than he is catching. He's a great catcher, great receiver. I don't see Kelsey blocking like Kittle does. So if you're going to look at this as a statistical game, unless they sleep on Kittle and he gets out, and I think they will. I think Kittle will make some noise in this game. I see him coming in with, you guys have heard the quote, with vengeance. He's going to be back. He's going to be back. So with this game, I do see him making some noise, but I see Kelsey having better numbers, being the focal point on that Kansas City team. So if we can stop Kelsey, I think we stop Kansas City's offense. I really do. I think they would have to heavily lean on Pacheco. And then at that point, the Niners, we make them one-sided, one-dimensional. I would say that Kelsey does get the nod as far as statistical, but as far as who means more to the team, or what position means, Kelsey is very important to the Chiefs. Very, very important to the Chiefs. He's probably their number 1 playmaker, but Kittle brings a different aspect to his port of the team. I would say that he's more inspirational. He's more emotional. He's more of a team player. He's more of the locker room voice. He's more of that. He's more of a Niner, if that makes sense. Not that Mr. Kansas City Kelsey isn't KC, isn't Mr. Red and, what are they, red and gold or red and yellow? I never really thought of the Chiefs as other color. I just know it's like that. So, I would say Kelsey's probably going to get his. Again, if we can stop Kelsey, we're going to really hurt Kansas City's chances of winning this game. So I don't want to say 50-50 because I do think Kelsey gets the nod. So is it fair to say 60-40 and Kelsey does get the nod, David? I mean, because
yeah, Well, pass catching and impact wise, George Kittle does have a big impact on our game. Blocking for the other guys is more of what he does than pass catching. In this game, I honestly think we're going to see Kittle go beast mode, because you remember when we lost that Super Bowl, he said, I'm going to be back. I'm going to be back with a MF and vengeance. And Raphael, actually, that's what I was about to bring up. Who's going to stop Kittle? I honestly could see them putting their safety read on him, but if they do that, that's going to leave our wide receivers one-on-one with their defensive backs. And their defensive backs are good, but they're not the fastest, they're not the biggest. They're pretty good. But I would take Ayuk one-on-one over any defensive back in the league. Same thing with Debo.
So would you say, okay, looking at their defense, is their defense like a juggernaut because of the time of possession that they've been on the field, because their offense has had the ball primarily the game and they haven't had to go out there and perform a whole lot? Or are they getting the statistics, the stats? Are they getting the stops? Like, are they like a shutdown defense? Are they getting the takeaways? Or are they just getting really bailed out and maybe lucky because they have a really good offense and they have made maybe a couple crucial stops? Like, we're not going to say that they don't have any noteworthy plays, but how would you rate this Kansas City defense? Because in my opinion, they definitely seem to be a little bit different than they were in 2019. They seem to be a better defense than they were in 2019. It seems to me that the offense of Kansas City is kind of taking a step back. But that number 15 over there, Mr. Patrick Mahomes, has matured a whole lot, and I think he's learned the game a lot better and he's learned it a lot more than I think anybody's really expected him to, and as fast as he has. I mean, how many Super Bowls has he been to? How many years has he been in the league? How many AFC championship games has he reached? So is it just the pairing of him and Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid? Is it just, luck? He found a good fit. Mr. Alex Smith, just said, hey, take my spot, and you got a great opportunity, because the Chiefs were a good team. Alex Smith got him to the playoffs several years in a row. So what's the difference here? Alex Smith, we know he was the ultimate game manager, but Patrick Mahomes, he seems to be able to game manage, and he seems to be able to, I don't know, is he Brady-esque? I mean, he seems to pull out those miracle wins at the end. So how do you describe, and what's your thoughts on Patrick Mahomes?
Right now, he is probably the best QB in the league. They won a lot of games with subpar wide receivers. Rashid Rice and the rest of the guys are average, if not below average. And Travis Kelce actually dropped. He had drops. He wasn't doing too good this year. So, but their defense was actually better than their offense. But yeah, Patrick Mahomes is probably the top quarterback in the league right now, unfortunately. Brock Purdy's really good. He's only in his second year. He's only going to get better, folks. Maybe he'll, be king of the mountain here in a season or two.
Yeah, there very well could be a passing of the torch. It seems like that's what they wanted to do when the 49ers and the Chiefs first played. It could have very well went to Jimmy G being the face of the franchise, the face of the league, but it kind of turned towards Kansas City, and Kansas City really hasn't, let up. They've lost some wide receivers, they've lost some players. We've gained some of their defensive players. We've taken two of their defensive players, if I'm correct. They've gotten one of our running backs. We're okay with that. We don't mind them having him. We don't want to see him win another Super Bowl, but he wasn't producing on our team. So sometimes when you don't produce, you have to go elsewhere. And, sometimes there's other places. So when we look back at the 2019 Super Bowl and we were running the ball through the playoffs, we took the ball out of Jimmy's hands and we ran the ball. We didn't necessarily do that with this playoff run. We did have some scary games. We did come from behind both times, but we have a different quarterback. It's not Jimmy Garoppolo. It's Brock Purdy, like you said. So when you're looking at how the 49ers played the Chiefs last time, and everybody's like, just run the ball. Is that what the 49ers need to do this time, David, in your opinion? Or do they need to just allow the game to unfold and the Niners take what they can get, because at this point, I feel Mostert or Deebo was going to end up being the MVP last Super Bowl. I think if the Kelsey, I'm so sorry, if the Kittle pass interference didn't happen in the beginning before halftime, I think there would have been a change. Maybe Kittle would have gotten it, but because that PI happened, Deebo was playing really well, and then Mostert was going off. Then, for whatever reason, we decided to stop running the ball. They stacked the box, but we were still running the ball and being efficient when they stacked the ball. But for whatever reason, Kyle said, nope, they stack in the box. We're going to throw. And Jimmy at that point closed his eyes, threw the ball. We know it was intercepted. There's a lot of craziness that happened from there. We don't even have to talk about the defense and the passing. What happened with what happened with Patrick Mahomes and Bosa. But again, do you see having not a boneheaded, because everybody makes mistakes. In hindsight, armchair quarterback, whatever you want, Monday morning quarterback, right? Do you see us getting away from an MVP and trying to, if CMC starts out the game, first and second quarter, and he's rushing really hard, do you see them taking the ball away from him in the third and fourth quarter and trying to give somebody else, some advantages? Or, if that person, Deebo's killing the game, the whole entire game, do we just keep feeding him? Because at this point, I don't care who gets the touchdowns, who breaks the records. I want the Niners to win. But do you see them spreading it around a lot? Or, because again, the reason I'm asking this question is when they took the ball from Mostert and Deebo in the Super Bowl last year, I don't know if they were trying to make Jimmy the MVP. I don't know. But it seemed like once they did that, our chances just kind of dwindled away. What's your opinion?
Yeah. Well, in the last Super Bowl, we stopped running the ball and started passing it around. I don't know what Kyle was thinking. Maybe he was trying to hit them with they're not expecting us to pass it. Maybe that's what he was trying to do. It's hard to say. But with our offensive line being built to run block, it's just time to be running the ball. And that's the one thing. Kansas City Chiefs defense is one of the top in the league in pass defense. Run defense, it's kind of suspect. We should be able to run the ball on them. And at this point, run the ball on them, dink and dunk down the field, do what you got to do to score points, and eat that clock up. Keep Mahomes on the sideline. That's the game. That's how you beat him, is you keep him on the sideline. You keep your defense fresh. So, right?
I agree. So, again, the reason I'm asking this is, Caitlin says, I think they need to spread the ball around too. Ideally, I think they need to spread the ball around, right? We don't want to be complacent. But if one person is taking over the game, and like Mostert last year, not last year, but in the playoffs, he has the record, right? He has the most yards for rushing in a playoff game. And we take the ball out of his hands in the most critical moment, and we go and say, okay, we're gonna try to beat you this way. We're gonna try to be cute and beat you. So at this point, if CMC, and we've heard it all year, we don't want him to get hurt. Let somebody else play. Okay, CMC, in this last game, took himself out of the game when he had the helmet flip, somersault, whatever, he landed on his neck basically, and kind of right there at the corner of the end zone. That's why Mitchell came in and scored the touchdown. I'm not hating on Mitchell. Not at all. I like Mitchell, and I thought it was great to see him come out. But CMC asked to come out. CMC said, hey, coach, I need to get my neck checked out or something. And later you seen him rubbing his neck, and you seen him, he's fine. But if CMC's got a 200 and something yard game, and the Niners and the Chiefs are back and forth, but CMC is the one producing, you give that guy the rock. You feed him the rock. I don't, put him on, put the team on his back, whatever you got to do. At this point, I see it being a lot of running, like you're talking about, and a lot of screen passes from both sides of the field. I see Pacheco being really, really big for the Chiefs, and I see Kelsey, getting open. Kelsey getting open when the Niners start looking at Kelsey and taking their eyes off of him and looking at Mahomes. There's some kind of, I don't know, they have like mental telekinesis or something like that, where just as soon as the corner looks at Patrick Mahomes looks around and sees Kelsey's open, and they're a second or two later, there's an opening, and it seems to be funny. It's almost like scripted, David. When you see number 87 in the middle of the field and nobody's around him, you mean you're missing that big, tall, red dude in the middle of the field? Its numbers are 87. It's not like he went and changed his jersey on the sideline. He's in there every play, and he's always open, like 5-10 yards, always open. So I would. Who would you like to see the Niners maybe potentially put on him, cover him, like almost as a spy, or shadow him? Would you put Fred Warner on him?
Well, it's a good idea to leave a linebacker up close to the line of scrimmage to get him. Fred Warner or Greenlaw, either one will work. Greenlaw, well, he might put the thump on him, and then they'll automatically throw the flag. Oh, it's Patrick Mahomes. Oh, come on, guys. Once he takes off running, the rules change. He's a runner. He's not a quarterback anymore. So, I would like to see it. Probably maybe leave a safety in, because Mahomes is quick. He's got some wheels, but leave a safety like Tayshaun Gibson or Jair Brown in to spy on him, and hopefully our defensive line can stay in their lanes and not give him a gaping hole to run through too. That's another thing. I mean, a lot of people have been saying, should we play him like we played Jalen Hurts? Patrick Mahomes is better than Jalen Hurts. You give him that kind of time in the pocket, he's gonna pick us apart.
Yeah, most definitely. So we have the opportunity to win this Super Bowl, and I think the key is Brock Purdy. The reason I'm going to say the key is Brock Purdy. Patrick Mahomes can pick us apart, right? We've seen his elusiveness. We've seen him pull away and make plays out of nothing, right? Well, this last game, it's not been the only time it's ever happened, but it seems like this was a time where maybe Kyle was a little bit more, I don't know, maybe Purdy just said, I don't care. I'm going to do what I got to do. He scrambled, David. I don't know. I wear glasses. I know you wear glasses. I took mine off. I wiped my glasses. One, maybe because I was getting so excited, I mean, we were coming back. We're going to win this game, right? But I made sure my spectacles, right, they were all clean. I thought I seen Steve Young back there. I know it's a 13. I seen a 13, but that 13 blended for a second. I swear. I tell you what, that guy was running around out there, and I thought we had a mobile quarterback for a second. And then I looked over and I seen Purdy, and I'm like, that dude can run. So is Purdy's feet, his ability to scramble, is that going to be the key to keeping us on the field, continuing these long drives? We've been talking CMC this last game, maybe was getting 2-3 yards of carry at first, right? He was getting stuffed, but he was making, so there's 10 yards, right? 2-3 yards, you get a run. Then maybe you pick up 3 or 4 more yards. If it's third down and 4 and it's not open, are you confident that Brock Purdy can scramble and get it?
Yes. Last week he went into, I got to do what I got to do, and he took off running for a couple of really good scrambles. And the thing that concerns me is him diving head first. Yeah, I do like the mentality, but buddy, we need you on the field, so slide. Once you're past the first down marker, just slide.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want first downs. When you see the first down, drop. I just wanted to just keep going. So, okay, we got to talk about special teams here. I think we have a great punter. I'm not really even concerned or worried about Kansas City's punter. They don't seem to punt very often. It seems like when they have turnovers, that's their punt, right? So I don't see our offense, our special teams being out there too much for punts. If we do punt, or if we do get a punt, I'd love to see Ayuk out there. Would you put Ayuk out there in this situation, or would you put Ray out there? It's the Super Bowl.
Ray has a lot of experience returning punts.
Okay.
So I'm confident in his ability. When it comes to Ayuk, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him out there because he's probably faster than Ray.
Yep.
But at this point, we need to make sure that we're handling the punt and it's not being muffed, given the other team. We can't have any of these can't have turnovers going on here. We need to play clean football. Speaking of,
I love this comment right here. I put Greenlaw in for punt return.
Ooh,
That's funny. That's too funny. But at this point, yeah, I would potentially see if Ray's ready to go. If Ray's ready to go, then yeah, stick with it, right? If it's not broken and he's been doing good, let's keep it there. But if Ayuk says, "Coach, put me in," I'm putting Ayuk out there. Put an Ayuk out there. If Ayuk wants to fair catch it, that's fine. I believe Ayuk has probably the best hands on the team. So if he says, "I can do it, Coach," and if I don't want to do it, if Juice wants to do it, Mr. Kyle Juicecheck, I would put Kyle out there and I'd say, Kyle, you do your job. Kyle is one of the other punt returners in our backup emergency guys. What is he? He is the Swiss utility knife, right? So the guy can do it all. I know some people don't like how much he gets paid, and some people don't like how old he is, and they think this and that. Well, sometimes a lot of things are not necessarily seen out in front, and sometimes you can't hate on a player because of their contract. When other players come in, they are not necessarily. You can't get mad because you're not taller or faster, or this guy's got a different color hair or whatever. And sometimes that's why that person got paid the way they got paid. Juice is the best fullback in the league, and maybe we're paying a premium for him. And with that, real quick, David, if we win the Super Bowl, in your opinion, is Juice retiring or is he running it back?
I don't see Juice retiring. He has one more year under contract. Maybe when his contract ends, he will. But at this point, he's still playing at a decent level for a fullback. So I don't see him retiring. Right now is a good time to say we're streaming on both channels, folks, mine and his. So if you could pop over to David Mcniner and hit the thumbs up, or if you're over there, pop over to Bryant Culp and hit the thumbs up. We both appreciate it.
We certainly would. David and me do a lot of things together. We're both building our YouTube channels. We've both been doing it for just about a year now, and we don't have a ton of followers, but we have solid followers, yep. And we appreciate you all. And hopefully we get to come back and jump back and forth every once in a while, hit a like, drop a comment, and if you stick around, you might hear a dad joke. So appreciate y'all. David, we have Juice. He had a great catch in that last game. I was super excited. He was open. I thought they were going to throw it to Kittle. I think Kittle was underneath, and they threw it past him to Juice. It was the deeper shot. Very, very happy. That guy's got hands. We could even possibly say golden hands, right? So we're going to stick with special teams right now. And we know the Kansas City Chiefs have been to the Super Bowl a couple times now. So I'm going to have to give their kicker the nod here. We got a rookie kicker. He's got butterflies. Some people like to consider him public enemy number one on our side. We got some fans hating on him. And I understand, you could say it's their mood or maybe they're being moody. I don't know. But he's missed a couple times. We understand it. But the difference, and the reason I'm giving Kansas City the nod is I think Kansas City last year won the Super Bowl with their kicker. So kickers matter. And Jake, if you're listening, just stay solid. You got this. But right now, Kansas City, if it's at the end of the game, their kicker's lining up to kick the game winner. He's been there, he's done that, and sometimes that just makes you feel a little bit better, right? As far as their long snapper, I think we got the better long snapper. I think we have a better kick returner. I think even if Jennings is not Jennings, I'm saying Ray's back there to return, but I don't see Ray returning. I see Deebo being the kickoff returner. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, Ray's going to be he's our returner. I will actually want to see Deebo returning kickoffs. He seemed to really dig doing that.
I think he's going to call a shot. That's why I think Ray will get stuck at punts or kept at punts, like you were saying. I'm sorry.
Yes. Yeah, Ray is pretty good at getting those banana balls and the weird kicks that punters can do these days. But yeah, when it comes to kickoff returns, we could just keep Debo back there. He'll run someone over, and you never know what's going to happen. A kickoff return for a touchdown in the Super Bowl would be nice. I'm not going to lie.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Like Tony down here, Wishnowski with punt return on the 2-yard line. Yeah, I mean, let's go, right? And then Notorious Gav, appreciate you, buddy. Juice going to score another TD this Super Bowl too. Tommy, put your house on it. Yeah, if Juice gets in there, I know we're going to hear Gav all the way on the other side of that pond, and he'll be yelling Juice. We know it. It's going to be coming. So, David. Is it too early for Super Bowl MVPs? And I need 2 of them. I need one from the Kansas City Chiefs, your prediction, and I need one from the San Francisco 49ers, your prediction. And I'll give you my 2. If you don't want to go first, I'll go first.
Well, the Kansas City Chiefs, it's the obvious prediction. It's Patrick Mahomes. That's just, if anyone's going to win it from the Chiefs, it's going to be him. When it comes to us, we got a couple different guys that can win it. I'm honestly, I would like to see Brock Purdy, but I think it's going to be CMC.
Well, Kansas City, I would say they have 2 MVPs right now, and it's going to either be Patrick Mahomes or Kelsey. I think Kelsey has a real big chance of becoming the MVP for this Super Bowl, especially if he has like a Super Bowl winning touchdown at the end. It doesn't matter who threw the touchdown. It matters if Kelsey catches it and looks up at the box office and sees Taylor up there. That's going to make the MVP, like, it's going to go full circle, right? So the MVP of this Super Bowl will be Taylor Swift. That's what I'm getting at for Kansas City. The 49ers, if we get to the Super Bowl and we are there, we're in the Super Bowl. If we win the Super Bowl, depending on the amount of touchdowns, Purdy will be the MVP. If CNC has 2 or more touchdowns, rushing or receiving, I think he can get it. I think if Purdy throws or scores 3 touchdowns, I think he gets it.
That's a good take. It 100% is. We got to beat the Chiefs no matter what. I wouldn't mind seeing a guy like Nick Bosa win the MVP, gets 10 sacks on the day. Well, I highly doubt that's going to happen, folks. But I wouldn't mind seeing something like that. As long as we get the W, Mitch Wazowski can win the MVP, and I would be happy for him. The W is what matters.
Yeah, MVP is not really what's, MVP is fun. Everybody wants to hear who's the MVP. We just won the Super Bowl. We're going to Disneyland. Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, Steve Young, all those guys, we love at the end. Those are like the hero got it, right? So if this ends up being the way, all good fairy tale should end, right? And we don't want this to be a fairy tale. We want this to be a real story ending, right?
Mm-hmm.
But something that
you never know. Mitch Wazowski could have like a fake punt, 80-yard run for a touchdown. You never know what's going to happen, right?
Oh boy. I mean, like, if that happened, do you know how crazy that would be? I mean, we might actually have 2 punters that go into but we might actually have 2 in the NFL that ever go enshrined. Ray Guy from the Oakland Raiders, one of the best punters in the world ever in the NFL. And then, Mitch Wisnowski actually scoring a touchdown in the MVP. I mean, like, how crazy. You'd hear people yelling Aussie for years. Aussie. Yeah, it'd be great. But so we're going to say that Kansas City and the 49ers, are we squashed on special teams? They have the better kicker. We possibly have a better punter. Well, we know we have a better punter, and we might have a better returner. I would say equal 50-50 maybe on special teams. Defense, we're going to give our defense a nod. Is that fair to say? What's your thoughts on our defense versus their defense?
Well, their defense has actually been their better unit this year. And
because
it's
because of the time
because
of their because of their time of
Mhm.
possession, because of their uh, how 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 do you why do you think that Kansas City's defense is better than their offense this year?
Well, this year their offense hasn't been putting up a lot of points, and their defense has had to go out there and do work and win games by not letting the other team score. Their defensive backs were actually really young last year, and they've gotten better. And our wide receiver core is much better. So it's one of those that's going to be a matchup to watch, is their defensive backs versus our wide receivers, right? But yeah, their offense, that they haven't been the juggernaut scoring 35 points a game like they have been in past years. So their defense has had to step up. And right now, their pass defense is really good. Their run defense is suspect. Um, yeah.
So the reason I wanted to ask that is because, like, take for example the Niners when we were having those drives with Jimmy G and we were going 10, 12-minute drives, 15 plays, and we were taking almost a whole quarter off the board. At that moment, would you say and just ideally, when you have an offense that can continuously get the first downs, first down after first down after first down, they're not going to have a huge. So ideally, if a team scored every time they got the ball, right, and they took
Mhm.
10 to 12 minutes off the clock, and that's what basically the Niners were doing. So 7-7, 7 times 4 is 28, right? How you're not going to have a bunch of yards. You might have what 400 yards, 360 yards, somewhere around there, depending on where you start off. And if ideally you're starting off at the 25 every drive, you're going 75 yards. So you're gonna have under 400 yards of offense if each time you go down and score, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean your offense has to have juggernaut statistics or be like a highly scoring, you know what I'm getting at. So, hopefully, I believe you do. Where your defense comes on, and all they have to do is make one or two stops, because your offense has basically played the entire game. So almost at that point, is your offense better than your defense, or is your defense just getting lucky, or is it both? Your defense can get lucky and be really good.
I I don't know if it's really lucky or if it's just playing good football. You know, um, I honestly would like to see us go old school back to what we did with Jimmy G and take 10 minutes off the clock on a drive and score a touchdown.
Yeah,
I would love to see that, because then that's Patrick Mahomes sitting on the sideline. That's their defense getting wore out.
yeah.
So late in the game, if we need it, we can move the ball with ease. Um, yeah, I would. I really would. I would love to see those long drives, dink and dunk. A lot of people dog it,
Yeah, they don't like it
but
because it's boring,
it
right?
has an
Old school,
effect. It has
old
an
school
effect on the
football.
game,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. People don't like running the ball because it's boring. Oh man, they're not doing anything. They're not. Oh, where are they at? What's the score? Oh, it's still 0-7. Oh, it's boring. Change the channel. But then if you look at it, it's all about like war and mathematics, and it really truly is. It's a battle. It's not a chess match, but people always they say it's a chess match. Well, it is in a sense, because you have to attack the other team. It is a battle. It's like you are going to war, right? So when you have the ball for that long, the other team has to take it away. They have to get the stop. And once they get the stop, what are they going to do? What do they have to do next, David? They have to score. They have to figure
Yep.
out a way to get points. So if they don't take the ball away and score immediately, and you get the ball again, if you got 3 points and they got nothing, you're winning the game. So again, people say it's boring. It's boring. No, the 2-3 yard plays aren't necessarily boring if you got the win. If you got the lead. But this team and this Kansas City team against the 49ers, if we try to do that this whole game and just play slow football, I guess if you want to say, or 80s football, Patrick Mahomes can score. We've seen him do it in overtime. We've seen him take a team down in less than 30 seconds or something like that and score and win. So, yeah, their defense is really good. Our defense is similar. I think we have two head coaches that think really, really similar. So how does that, get involved in it? How do we add that into it? Is Kyle going to learn from his past mistakes? Is Andy too complacent at this time, or is he trying to win it again? If he wins it again, what does that mean for his legacy? Is he retiring after this Super Bowl, or win or lose, or is he trying to get more Lombardi rings? More hardware. How many rings can you wear? And what again is Andy Reid really trying to do here? Because there's so many years you got, right? And you can keep working forever, but sooner or later, you get tired, right? So at this point, it doesn't seem like Andy's tired. He's been doing all these commercials. So what do you see going on with Kyle and Andy? If Kyle wins this, is this a turning point for Andy, or does he stay in the league longer? Do you see Andy winning this game and continuing, or do you see him maybe putting his hat down and saying sayonara? How do you see this? Because this game for Kyle means everything, right? If Kyle loses the Super Bowl, how many Super Bowls have you lost, Kyle?
Exactly. How many NFC Championship games have you made it to and not quite got it done? So when it comes to Andy Reid, I don't see him hanging up his hat. Not while he has Patrick Mahomes. Maybe some years from now, and who knows, maybe they'll turn into the Buffalo Bills and they'll keep making it and not win some. You never know how things are going to happen next season, right?
Right.
But it's the here and now for us. It's do or die. It's win the Super Bowl, Kyle. Here's your chance. Win the Super Bowl right now. You're here. It's a hard thing to do to get here. It's not easy. We've seen that over the last several years. Make the NFC Championship game and get disappointed. And, in 2021, when we got beat by the Rams by 3 points, yeah, there was a couple plays that could have went our way that would have swung the game. Yes. But there was a whole game's worth of plays that, execution was poor, or things didn't go right, or they executed on defense better than we did on offense. There's all kinds of things that could go better for us, is what I'm saying. Like the Eagles game, they knocked our QB out. Then they knocked our other QB out. And I'm sitting there looking at the NFL like, I thought you were supposed to be protecting these guys, But and that's just what happened. They knocked Brock Purdy out. They beat us. They went on to play Patrick Mahomes and got beat in the Super Bowl. This year, here we are playing the same guy that was there last year, Patrick Mahomes. And we got to get it done. We got to. This is a must for Kyle. You can't be really good all the time and never win it, because you'll get a reputation going on that you don't want to have.
Yeah. And that's what I think. It's not, not having faith in Kyle or not having, but I believe this guy, whatever he has to do, some yoga, whatever he has to do, some spiritual meditation, whatever he has to do, right? He has to go into this and he has to really play like he needs to go in there with almost no pressure. I would say, sure, he needs to have pressure, but he needs to feel loose. If he goes in there and he's too worked up or too confident, because he has to know, like Gav said it, if you want to fire Kyle because he loses the Super Bowl, I'm not saying fire Kyle. I'm not saying that. But again, Kyle's been to how many Super Bowls? You can call the the Atlanta his Super Bowl, right? You lost the Super Bowl. You lost the Super Bowl with the Niners. This is your third time. If you lose again, what does that do to you up here? And that's what we need. Like, we need to make sure that Kyle knows that, yeah, you got the support of the faithful. You got the support of the owner. I know he knows Jed supports him, and they've already kind of said it. John Lynch supports him. Everybody supported him. So just do your thing, man. Go out there and do your thing, right? We've seen you make the adjustments. We've seen you make corrections. We've seen you come from behind. So now you got your quarterback that you've made relevant. Let's go. Now, as far as Patrick Mahomes, it's not going to hurt him if he loses this Super Bowl. It's not going to do anything to his legacy. It's not going to diminish it at all because he still has those years to come. Now, if he never wins another Super Bowl, it's still not going to really do anything to his you can't argue with how many times he's been to where he's been. You can't argue the success he's had. At this point, he could retire after this game and still be known as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, if not the greatest. You can say, all you want about Tom Brady, but then you got to start talking about all the different gates that he's had, right? And then you can start saying all these other things. Patrick Mahomes, he's got a pretty clean record at this point. Andy Reid's the one with the baggage, right? Andy Reid was the one in Philadelphia that couldn't win. He comes to Kansas City, he starts winning. He starts winning with Alex Smith, right? The guy that we couldn't win with. So I could see it going both ways. I see if Andy Reid wins this, he could say, hey, man, I've done it, all right, that's good for me, right? And letting somebody else, is it Steve Spagnuolo? Is that the defense coordinator? He could be a great coach, head coach for the Chiefs, but I don't see him just walking away. And I like what you said too. As long as Patrick Mahomes is up and healthy and he's at his prime, why would Andy leave, right? So again, Kyle, this is your opportunity. This is your opportunity because this isn't going to hurt Andy and it's not going to hurt Patrick. They might just be there next year. They just might be right back there next year. At this point, you can take away Patrick Mahomes' weapons. He's still getting it done. So, again, for us, I think this, we go in there, we play confident, we play 49er football. We do need to play with urgency. We do need to remember this is a Super Bowl, but you can't go in there and play with no life. You can't go in there and play with no fun, right? You play too uptight, mistakes happen. You're afraid to make a mistake. That's when you get hurt. David, I'm excited. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do for the next couple of days. Sunday's coming. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to barbecue and all that good stuff. Have you gotten any of that figured out yet? Are you going to be grilling? Are you going to be cooking? Are you going to be going to a bar? What are you going to be doing?
Oh, no. It's too far away to think about that yet.
Okay. That's where I'm at, basically.
Like the day before, I'll figure all that out. I'll do the right thing and procrastinate.
Yep. Yeah. Well, you know what? I got to tell everybody, thank you all for coming. I think, David, it's probably, unless you got anything else, I think we've,
no. Remember, we'll do dual streaming, so pop over and hit the like on the David Mcniner YouTube if you're over at Bryant Culp. If you're over on my channel, pop over to Bryant Culp and hit the like, please.
Yeah, subscribe, and on both channels, it's free. If you subscribe and you put it in the comment that you subscribe to the channel, me and David will both go and subscribe back to you. We have no problems. We like making friends. We like people coming around. If you ever want to be part of the show and come on as a guest, reach out, tell us, we'll bring you on. The season's almost over, so these shows are probably going to turn into some guest shows, some interview shows, and having other friends on and people on that maybe don't have a channel. Maybe you have a channel, but you just want to come on and talk a little bit of football and again, have some fun. Everybody, thank you very, very much for coming. If you want to have fun, drop your favorite Taylor Swift song in the comments before we go or after the show is over. Put it in the comments, and you can shake it off. You can say it's our song. I don't care, but don't be afraid. Don't be scared. And this is my hot take. She will be there at the Super Bowl, and she will be performing in the Super Bowl halftime. So if you haven't heard it, maybe you've heard it here first. I don't know I know they have a dome stadium, David. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I see some kind of way she's coming down from like a parachute or something. Somehow she's going to just ascend from the sky or something. I don't know, but it's going to happen. Folks, I'm having a lot of fun. I think the Niners have a great opportunity to win. what other stadium better to win it in than the Oakland Raiders? Oh, wait, they're not the Oakland Raiders anymore. So remember, faithful to the Bay. whoever wins this Super Bowl, the Raiders can't get over it. They won't get over it. So again, it'll be fun. And with that, guys, tomorrow David will be on Coast to Coast. Are we on Aaron's channel, your channel? We haven't figured that
49ers out. First Takes podcast. We'll be going Niners Coast to Coast with this guy over here, me, Ty Austin, and Aaron.
So if you guys don't know, there's 4 of us. We get together. We do shows on Mondays. We recap the 49ers games. We talk a little bit about injury updates and different things that's happened in the 49ers community. So tune in tomorrow, 5:15, a couple minutes after work. So yeah, we'll be there. And with that, guys, thank you all for coming. We appreciate you. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and drop this outro. And it's the same one we had earlier. So thank you for coming, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. David, send us out.
Hey, it's Go Niners, and as Corey Davis would say, F all 31 other teams.
And folks, they might have Taylor Swift, but we have Journey. So don't stop believing.